shaped into the image of Christ, a model of spiritual formation readers will find helpful, encouraging, challenging, and healing. She describes 5 stages of the soul that develop during our journey with God, offering an understanding of spiritual formation that I believe can dramatically shape the trajectory of our life with God as we live out our gift of years. She writes, "This journey takes time, radical honesty, and the examination of our hearts. It'll require us to be willing to enter into the unknown territories of our souls, the parts we are afraid of examining. Daily, it will cost us letting go of everything we hold dear to realize what has eternal value. It will mean being primarily concerned about grieving God's heart in all the decisions we make. It will mean loving God more than anything else and allowing Him to remake us entirely." Yes, there is a cost involved in spiritual formation, and yes, things will take time. Should we be surprised? A valued mentor once told me, "Chris, spiritual formation is the slowest of all human movements. And as much as we may wish to deny it, the pattern of spiritual formation is cruciform." Mark 8:34-37. A seed must die in order to blossom. Yet, as Dallas Willard reminds us, the cost of non-discipleship is much higher. To depart from righteousness is to choose a life of crushing burdens, failures, and disappointments, a life caught in the toils of endless problems that are never resolved. Here is the source of that unending soap opera, that sometimes horror show known as normal human life. The cost of discipleship, though it may take all that we have, is small when compared to the lot of those who don't accept Christ's invitation to be part of His company in the way of life. From the Spirit of the Disciplines. Quite frankly, Stages of the Soul is one of the best books on spiritual formation, particularly for an evangelical audience, written in the past 25 years. Read it slowly, carefully, and receptively. The result, I believe, will be the formation and transformation Jesus continually offers to us. Chris Hall, President, Renovari. Introduction. To fall in love with God is the greatest romance. To seek Him the greatest adventure. To find Him the greatest human achievement. St. Augustine of Hippo. At 8 years old, it was, to me, the safest place in the world. The one-story, white-brick church was a temporary respite on Sunday mornings from what I perceived as the challenging world of a grade schooler. I still wonder how I found the courage to walk by myself almost a mile to church every Sunday. I recall getting dressed in my Sunday clothes, strapping on my Mary Jane shoes, taking a deep breath before I headed out the door and followed the sidewalk that led to the front of the church. I tried to enter the church so no one would notice me. Inevitably, I would be stopped by an adult welcoming me with a big smile. I still wonder, looking back, why no one questioned why I was alone. Once I had maneuvered through the sea of adults and families and into the sanctuary, I slipped into the hard, freshly polished wooden pews and turned my gaze to the cross at the front of the room. My body settled into a deep sense of relief and peace. I was the middle child of 3, with a sister 2 years older and a brother 4 years younger. My dad traveled Monday through Friday, and my mom stayed at home. But church was the place that I felt like home, the place I always belonged. In my tiny 8-year-old soul, I knew that there was a God who loved me and was there for me like no one else could be. Little did I know, that was the beginning of a lifelong journey with God in Christ Jesus. Just as my body, mind, and heart would mature, so would my relationship with God. As I look back, I'm amazed at how, in my youth, God instilled a desire in my soul to be in relationship with Him. What I didn't know then, but now know, is that every one of us was created to know the love of God and to share that love with others. But with all the people that profess to be followers of Christ, why isn't the world a more dramatically different place? I believe, as I heard John Stott once say, that it is our failure to actually become what we profess. Not only that, but research indicates that the Protestant church is in decline. Pastor Ed Stetzer explains, overall the church's influence on Americans is beginning to fade. A growing number of Americans have given up on God, or at least on organized religion. They've become nuns, a term popularized by Pew Research, and their numbers are growing. Stetzer continues, Pew's 2007 Religious Landscape Study, which surveyed 35,000 respondents, found that about 16% of Americans claim no religious affiliation. By 2015, that number had grown to 23%, almost 1 in 4 Americans. People are walking away from the Christian faith because they've failed to recognize the truth of Christ making a difference in a confusing and turbulent culture. The cause of the problem previously stated may lie in the fact that we know much about God and His Word, yet never really encounter God Himself.